So I'm ready when you ready.
Oh, I'm ready now, bro. I
This
did.
be our role,
I did
so
take clip.
whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Oh, it's all love. You good?
Yeah, I sound straight. I ain't too loud, am I? Because I know I'm loud as hell.
No, you're good.
Okay, good. That's why I didn't get too close to the microphone because I know that might be peaking, and then you be mad as hell. I engineer, so I know. Like, no, nigga, step back from the mic.
Nah, it's all love, man.
All right.
Welcome back to the Chris Massey Show. Today's guest, very close friend of mine, one of the homies, is just a great guy, very talented. Welcome to the show, Mr. Victor Freeze.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So welcome back. Welcome
Right,
back.
right.
Yeah, welcome back, man.
Yes, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm very glad to be here, man.
I'm glad you got a chance to come through, man. You know, what was it? We did our interview, what, like 2-3 years ago? Or at least.
Might be more than that. Because, shoot, remember last year was
nothing
COVID.
happened. Yeah,
Right,
nothing
last year was
happened last
COVID. And the year before that, and then the year before that, we saw Nas. So
that was 2018.
right, 3 years. So that was like 2017, 2016.
Yeah.
Man, you've been doing this for a minute, brother.
Actually, yeah, it's the 13th year, man.
Wow.
Well, in December. Yeah,
December,
going-
okay.
yeah, 13 years, man.
That's what's up. 13, my favorite number, too. I'm not triskaidekaphobic.
Nice, man. So you started off, you know, how we got that connection outside of you being on the podcast, for you being a dope, one of the best sound engineers and DJs.
Oh, thank you, brother.
You know, you produced a record on Nas's Hip Hop Is Dead album. One of my favorite tracks, with the whole album dope.
Right. Chris C. Webb did the beat. I just assisted him on the beat, but I mixed down the whole song, though. C. Webb did that beat, though.
Nice.
Chris.
Yeah. So Blunt Ash, you know, y'all check that out.
Yes.
One thing I admire and respect about you, you know, I try to let people know that I appreciate them, you know, and I'm just a genuinely grateful individual, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You a man of your word, man. Like, you know, I don't feel people owe anybody anything. It's just dope when people follow through, though. Because like, we had just met, though. You know, he was like, the conversation we had, he was like, oh, yeah, you should meet him. I'm like, I would like to, you know? And then you just came through and made it happen. I'm just like that. And I'm like, if more people could just, like, because you didn't have to say nothing. You know, it's just like, so thank you, man.
Oh, man,
Like,
first of
that's
all, it was my pleasure. And, man, it's because, like, when we met, like, you know, we met through your mutual friend, my boy.
Shout out to my bro, Phil.
Yeah, Phil. What up, Phil? Met through him. He like, man, good dude. You podcast, you got your album. I used to go holler at him. I'm like, bet. And like your energy, man, you was sincere, you was honest, you was real. Just your energy was just, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, like they say, like energies, you know, just radiate together. You know what I'm saying? So that was just, I was like, oh man, well, man, cool. He doing this, he doing that. All right. I was like, oh, you want to meet him? Bet we gonna go see him or whatever. And we still gonna go see him again though. I got another. We got to go see him again, man.
I'm with it.
Yeah, that was a good night. That was crazy too, though.
Man, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm living my dream, man.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure, for sure.
So, like, your sound engineering skills, how did you get into that as a profession?
Oh man, I was just telling the engineer here that I was like, shout out to Miguel, he the engineer, he doing a good thing.
For sure.
He doing his thing. So, my friend, my cousin. Now you know how black people are. Once you know a person for like all your life, they're your cousin. So
Right.
he's not biologically my cousin, but he's my cousin. My man Russ. He did a techno song that everyone knows, but you don't know the name of. You know, who knows
Yeah, right,
the
right.
techno songs, whatever.
Right.
But he got a song. He's still getting royalty checks from Europe for it. So I told him I made beats. He like, all right, come by the studio, whatever. And so I was making beats, and he was like, you know how to engineer? I was like, no. He's like, all right, I'm gonna teach you. So you gonna come down here, get your pen and pad. It's long and boring and tedious, but you're gonna learn. So I'm like, all right, bet, you know, because the stuff that the engineering skills and techniques he gave me, I would have paid a lot of money for, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Easily. And back then, it was during the transition of analog into digital. So I learned on the analog while we was transitioning to digital.
Dope.
So every day, like, he had a little studio in his basement, and like I said, he had a whole bunch of sound modules and patch bays and stuff like that. So first we went into mixing. And so he was explaining like compression, exciters, all that stuff or whatever. And to me, it was exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm understanding, like, I think everyone needs to, like, anyone who's doing music should do some engineering classes, because what helps you is, it helps you the fact that what the exciter is used for, what the compression is used for. You understand it, and it makes your beat making ability better, because now your songs are sounding more pristine and more clear, because now you understand how sound works.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's like, so I was down there for like 2.5, 3 years, just learning, writing down stuff. And this was like, oh my goodness. See, my dad died 2000. So it was 2001. Yeah, matter of fact, it was before that. 90, shoot, that was 98.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I forgot, because my dad passed away. Yeah, it was like it was 1998 when I started doing that. But I was down there for longer than 3 years, about 5 years.
So you got some time, man.
Man, yeah. Wow. Yeah. But yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, man. It's like dope, but that's great advice too for artists, because it's like, you know, put the work in to learn your craft. You know, it's like, it's nothing, you know, we all start at some level, no matter whether you're a novice or you come in with some type of experience.
Yeah.
But the key is you can never stop learning or practicing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, some things it's like riding a bike, but I just personally like to, like, I talk with people for fun. I try to talk with random people just to keep my conversation skills going, just to see if I can have a random conversation of substance and duration. You know,
yeah,
like,
for sure. I've seen her in action. So yeah. But you're right though, and there's also one thing that my mom used to tell me: you can learn something new every day if you're acceptable to it. If you're ready to learn, if you let yourself. Because you can learn something from anybody, because everyone has different experiences and different levels of expertise that we don't have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you know, and I hate to say this because I'm not as classes or whatever, but as a janitor, you can learn something from a janitor. You know what I'm saying? A janitor can mess around and teach you a technique of cleaning you never heard of. Because
and they be dropping gems.
And dropping gems, right. You know what I'm saying? You like...
If you humble enough to talk,
yeah.
It's like, hey, how you doing and what's going on?
Right.
And that's how I learn from so many people, because I have a wealth of knowledge, because I talk with a wide range of people who a lot of people wouldn't normally talk to. It's like,
right.
Because I'm just like, we're human beings sent here to coexist. So, like, one thing that I've learned on this journey is you never know who you're in the presence of. Like,
facts. You said that to me too.
Man, because it's like, it's not, you know how it is, because we work in the industry and you know how we maneuver. We kick it with people, but there's some people who really try to judge you off of appearance or status or parent status, like
right. It has nothing to do with anything. Cause it's like you said, you could be especially in this industry, you could be in a hall or a party or anything like that, and you talking to a guy, next thing you know, you didn't know that this guy was managing Ludacris. Like when I met Shaka, I didn't know it was Shaka. I was just kicking it with him, just on some cool stuff. You know, like, hey, what up? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, this song banging, blah, blah, blah. And then that thing I know, like, hey, you was talking to Shaka. I'm like, oh, for real?
Shaka.
That was him?
Right.
Like, Ludacris manager? Outkast manager? Oh, wow, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But me talking to him like that plugged me in with Luda too, so.
Right. But that's the thing, and that's what we know, because we work in the industry, is like, that's why, like, part of the reason, for one, I'm not an attention whore.
Right,
But two, it's just like, I like to try to blend in just to see your genuine reaction. And it's a lesson in humility, because if you got to say to somebody, do you know who I am? It's either one or two things. Either they don't, obviously they don't know and don't care.
Right.
So it's like, so if you got to ask somebody, like, so it's like, they appreciate that you come in a genuine approach, as opposed to, you seeking them out to ask for something.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's like, when you talking about everything but business first, they're like, okay, I'm gonna keep that person in mind.
Yep.
And then, just let it grow organically, because we're gonna always get to the business.
That's true, right. You're gonna get to the business, and a lot of times, man, what I learned, learn from C-Web is, man, people come and talk to him about basketball all the time. There is, and I'm not saying this for everybody, but there is whatever the person's profession is, they heard probably every single question you think you haven't heard from them yet.
Right.
They've answered it 1,000 times. Trust me. There is nothing you, oh, but I'm going to ask them about this. It's been asked.
Right.
Asked and answered. Trust me. So when when they can let their hair down, so to speak, and they can just speak about other things that they like,
Right.
They respect you and want to be around you more because it's like, I don't have to talk about basketball. I can just talk about music, or I can talk about movies, or I can just talk about life.
And I feel you on that because I think about that a lot, especially when it comes to like athletes or people like what they're known for on a high level, because a lot of those people have. It's not even a hidden talent. It's only hidden because you didn't ask or you didn't care.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
you didn't know that they are author on the side, or
Right.
or a lot of people, like for example, like Chris, when people found out he's producing, like what he doing producing, like he can't have a skill outside of playing ball.
Apparently not. No.
So,
And like it's another thing about Chris, my bro, man. Shout out to C. West, my bro. Like people don't even know like how like he has a lot of artifacts that are on display at the Charles H. Wright Museum and African American Museum. Those are his artifacts that he collected over the time
Wow.
that are in display at this museum. You know what I'm saying? He's a big African art collector, but people don't know that because
they don't care.
they don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you ask him about it, oh man, he would love to just, split out all the stuff that, all the knowledge he's acquired and all the artifacts he's acquired and how he acquired them. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, no one's asking that question, so it's almost lost in the sauce.
Right. And so I know y'all work together. Like, in addition to you being a sound engineer, do you like assist with or build studios?
Oh yes, it did. I built the studio and it was in Philadelphia, and then that transferred me into building other people's studios and being an engineer in a lot of plug places. You know what I'm saying? It was just
Right.
I can't thank him enough, even though I know he's like, it's nothing. But I started with building his little brother's studio, then his, and man, it just took off. But then computers got better.
Right.
So you don't need me anymore to put together a $50,000 or $100,000 studio anymore. All you need is a really good computer and buy a bunch of patches and plugins. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Because people didn't want to mess with that patch bay. Like I was telling earlier, like when you saw those wires and you looking in, like, I ain't putting that together. The average person is like, I don't want that.
Exactly.
Especially when you're putting together like Chris' first studio, he wanted Planet Fat and all these other sound modules. You don't need that anymore. You can buy those same sound module plugins on your computer and have one MIDI keyboard. Now, the stuff that was like, that took up the whole studio, now it can be condensed in about a 2.5-foot cube.
So what's crazy about that, I'm glad you mentioned that, is like, so this skill set that you have, like, you weren't formally trained, like
Right, no,
that's
no,
dope. Like, a skill set that you didn't go to like I don't even know what school you would go to.
Yeah, it's a sound engineering school. Like a lot of people go to Full Sail in Florida. Like a couple of my friends, I encouraged them to go because they wouldn't have had the time that I had to spend with Russ to do that. You know what I'm saying? And in Full Sail and university or schools like that, because it's one here in Michigan too, if I got like School of Music or something like that, where you can learn sound engineering. But I had hands-on training from day one all the way through. So it's just like a person who, if you build houses, he might not have gone to a trade school.
Right.
His uncle taught him how to build houses, so he knows. And the thing about trade schools and schools are in general going to teach you all that they know.
Exactly.
They're not going to teach you the stuff that experience teach you. They say experience is the best teacher.
Right.
And it is. It's like, it is, because I can read a book about okay, building a speaker. But if I'm with a person who built speakers for 20 years and I'm learning from him, the knowledge that I get from him is going to far surpass what I would get out that book.
I agree. And that's my thing. I'm a hands-on learner because, I've learned personally through my own experience is that everybody has different methods of learning. Like, so like when I left college after my sophomore year, I was never against education. It's just my method of learning. So I didn't try to bring people with me. Like, yo, I'm leaving. This is why.
Right.
I'm just like you said. I never got the concept though. Honestly, I'm not knocking anybody, but when people refer to college, like, yeah, do what you're gonna do now, because then you get into the real world. And I'm like, ain't that what we supposed? You're supposed to be living the real. We really alive right now in this moment. So,
Right.
and so, to your point, it's not the knowledge; it's the proper application of the knowledge, and the only way you're gonna know how to apply it, to see whether it's sufficient or not, is through application.
Man, you're right is right. That's the truest thing ever said. Because like you said, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it, doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you need to get some glue and put it on this board to put to another board to stick, if you don't put it to the other board to stick, the point of having the glue is useless.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
And going back to perfecting your craft, and you said like learning, because it brought up a point. So part of my journey is I left school to work in the music industry on the business end. Like, I was taught, do what you love and the money will come. So I've been on different sides of the industry. I've been assistants, tried to manage, tried to produce. And that's when I learned, well, because that's your expertise. Like,
Yes.
so a friend of the family who's a very famous producer, I called him up when I wanted to produce, just to pick his brain. And one of the first things he told me, he was like, as successful as I am, I would highly recommend that you get piano lessons first, because I'm self-taught, and it's a certain technique so your fingers don't cramp. Like, it's like gyms, like you said, when you have the access to talk and be hands-on with people,
Yes, indeed. And you brought that up. That's the truest thing. When I first started making beats, I just bought a keyboard. What happened was, I couldn't find, this is back in the late 90s, before everyone was a producer. I couldn't find anyone to make beats that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I could find people to make beats, but they weren't what I wanted. So what I did was, I got a lawsuit from the city of Detroit. I got police brutality lawsuit, got a couple thousand,
Man.
and the first thing I did was buy a keyboard. I bought the most expensive keyboard at the time. It was a Roland XP80. Wouldn't pay like $2,500 for it back then. Bought that, and I sat up and I was trying to figure it out. So what I did was, because, like I said, I can learn from books, but I also can learn from people. And so then the book wasn't explaining why I had to do stuff. It would just say, you got to do this, this, and this. And it wasn't explaining like why I got to do this. I would go to the Guitar Center and I go in there and be like, hey man, I'm thinking about buying this board. How you do this?
Right.
And they, and they show you, and I was like, oh, that's how you do that? Oh, bet. Yeah, when I get my money right, I'm gonna come back and do this. But what he didn't know, I would take exactly what he told me, go back to the house, do it that way. So I started making beats, and I ended up, getting to the point where I was really good at making beats. And then that's where Russ came in, where I was making beats, but I really didn't understand what mixing was.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? All I thought of, okay, sounds, when you listen to sounds, you're like, okay, I know I want to hear everything, but everything has its place. And what people, the average person doesn't think of, when you hear a song on the radio, it's already mixed down. But if you heard that song raw, it
like
would
17 sounds.
Yeah, right. It'd be like, oh. So the engineer and the engineer who mixes down is like one of the most important persons in the music making part, because you can have a song, like I said, you can have the same song and two different people mix it down, and they will sound like two completely different songs, because each engineer has their own signature, have their own thing what they like. Like, I like my crashes loud. Some engineer like they crashes low. Some I like my bass lines loud. Some like the bass lines are right in the cut. So like when I was speaking of Blunt Ashes, that's why I was like, if you listen to that song, because I did not get my credit inside of the CD, but I got paid for it, and I have a great story about it too. But
hey, that's the important part.
right. The important part, I got paid for it, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
If you listen to that song, like I'll tell anybody, that song is mixed completely different than any other song on the album. And on that album, which is Humble Brag right here, Dre has a song that he mixed on there.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
And I outbanged Dre on that song. So Blunt Ashes, listen to it. You're gonna hear the sonic. You're gonna hear it sonically. You're gonna hear the fact that, dang, this ain't mixed like no other song on the album. And that was me. And I have a certain signature. Like I always drop the bass line on the third verse of every song, if I've ever mixed it. I drop the bass line, I keep the chorus part going on for a while. Or I drop the drums, rather. I drop the drums and let the chorus and the bass play for a minute. Then I take the chorus part out, put the drums in, and a couple sounds. That's my signature. I've always done that. On every third verse, if you listen to my albums on Mr. Victor Freeze, anywhere on iTunes, Apple Music, anything,
Sure.
all my third verses are mixed the exact same way. That's my signature. Like I told people, a person engineer has a signature, just like you can't be copied. If I write my signature and you can look at it as much as you can, it's not going to be the same signature as mine because it's my signature.
Yeah, and it's your stamp. And,
Right.
And that's what I think an important thing is that a lot of people, like this world would be so much more different and efficient if people found out what their signature in life is. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah,
instead
agreed.
of competing,
Yes.
because that's what one of my favorite quotes is: share the similarities to celebrate the differences. Like,
That's dope.
when you being you, and I thought it's dope because I got it from a Dove chocolate wrapper. You know, so I was just like, I was like, yo, this is.
That's what's up, though.
But I be looking for inspiration. Well, I find inspiration in a lot of places. Like,
Yeah.
if you open to it, you can. So it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's. In one of my favorite books, Florence Shen said, it's something that every human being on this earth can do that nobody else could do quite like them. So if you find what your thing is, no matter how subtle or extravagant, you'll live a more fulfilling. The odds of you living a more fulfilling, efficient life would be, will increase.
Yes, indeed. Man, that's a dope. I still can't get over the Dove chocolate,
Hey man,
bro.
that's one of my favorite snacks, man. I be like,
Hey man, that's what's up. I'm just like, wow, that's dope. I mean, look, I got a couple good quotes from the old Cracker Jack boxes. I can't remember them now, but that's like, man, that's like I said, you can learn something new every day from something. You know what I'm saying? Just anything. That was, man, that's amazing. I like that too. Man.
hey man, like I said, they put it in the bag, so
Yeah.
I'm sure I ain't the only one who came across that.
Yeah, I gotta give you your props though. You're right, because there are a lot of podcasts out here, man, and you have a niche that no one else can do.
Thanks, man.
Oh man, I'm just giving you your props,
Appreciate you,
brother.
man.
That's like I tell people all the time. I say it's not your job to big yourself up. Your job is to just do
Right.
what you do
Yeah.
and let other people big yourself up. You know, to big you up rather. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the format, your format, your cadence, to what you bring to the table is unlike anybody out here. That's why you've been doing it for 13 years. About to be 13. So
Well, thank you, man.
I give you props for that, man. You know.
It's much appreciated. It's interesting that you brought that up because that's part of my personality. I've learned how to tailor my businesses and my brands to my personality. It's like I like to celebrate people. Like the Chris Massey show, the irony is not about Chris Massey.
Right.
And then even with the Legendary brand, it's not saying that we're legendary and you aren't. We're saying it's like a stamp. Like we think that what you're doing is dope.
Yes.
And like that's some legendary stuff.
Yes, indeed.
So but yeah, I'm like that's come from my spiritual side, the selflessness and humility. It's like I mentioned earlier, if you gotta go around asking, hey, you know who I am? Or like either you ain't who you think you is.
Right. Or you ain't done enough yet.
Exactly, right.
Either way, quit asking.
All right. Yeah, people, the right ones see. So, but yeah, that's what, like, I just like to interact with people, man.
Same
And,
here.
Right, and before we wrap it up, also, you a dope DJ also, so like,
Thank you.
so what's the best way for people to like stay in contact with you and like whether take advantage, like if they want to link with you on the music or DJing, event, or if they just want to kick it, what's the best way for them to?
Instagram or Facebook. Instagram, I'm Mr. Victor Freeze, one word, or DJ 313 DJ Freeze. I think I said. I'm gonna make sure because I'll be forgetting. I got my email address that's kind of similar to it. No, it's DJ Freeze 313 on Instagram. And same thing. You can link up with me there or on Facebook or my email address, which is 313djfreeze@gmail.
For sure.
And the same thing with DJing. I got into it by necessity. You know what I'm saying? And what I've learned on DJing for so long is the fact that you are, people DJ and think it's all about them. No, it's nothing about you DJing.
I would hope not.
You know what I'm saying? It is all about the crowd. If they aren't dancing, I don't care how dope you think you are, you're not doing a good job. Facts. If they don't come and ask you, like I feel like this, every time I DJ, it's an audition. If I don't get another job from that gig, that was a horrible job. I did a horrible job. And it's not that I did a horrible job. I don't feel I did enough to get another gig.
Right.
So that means in my mind, like people are like, oh, you did a great job. But my mind says, I didn't get another gig out of this. It's not a good job. You know what I'm saying?
Whether it's repeat business or a referral.
Right. So I'll say thank you and everything, but in the back of my mind, when I'm going home, I'm thinking about the whole day, like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Why didn't I get this crowd to dance? Why didn't I have them dancing long enough? What did I do that I didn't get somebody to say, hey, what's your number? Or what are you doing this day? If I didn't get that, and I'm saying, and I'm being honest, if I don't get that at least 3 times, I failed.
Hey, but that's why you're successful, that perfectionist attitude, because I'm like, I've learned that too, because people used to be like, you too hard on yourself, but it's just like a certain standard that you have for it.
That's right.
And it's like, clearly as a human being, you're not going to be perfect, but that drive is what's going to keep you ahead and keep you going.
Yes, indeed.
Is there anything else that you want to address that I didn't?
Nah, man. I would tell you this too, so we on the air, because I know C-Web gonna hear this when I hear. Hey, C-Web, I need you on Chris Massey show, bro.
Yes,
I said you should be on here. I need you on here, bro. So you gotta when you hear this, hit me up and we gonna get you on here, man. I told Chris Massey that you a dope individual. That's man, like I said, that's my bro. I've done so much, experienced so much because of him, and I always gotta give him props. He like, oh no, you my fam, you ain't gotta worry about nah. But people don't really know how dope and sincere of a person this guy is. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I hooked up with Nas is because of him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so appreciative of that fact. You know what I'm saying? But he's a dope individual, and a lot of times the way your interview style is, people will be like, man, they'll see a side of him that, because you'll bring it out that they didn't know. And, he'll be even more loved. So that's my guy. But yeah, that's the only thing I had to bring up, man.
Hey, man. And that's much appreciated, man.
For sure.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Yes, it did.
And we appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. You want to stay updated with us. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page. It's Chris Massey Show. A very special thanks to the official sponsor, the inspirational lifestyle brand Legendary. Their motto is believers become innovators, innovators become legendary. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, also at LGNDRE. Check out the website, lgndre.com. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, Freeze, I appreciate you. It's always love, man.
My pleasure, brother.
And looking forward to working with you again.
Yes, sir.
Peace.